And WNST by our friends at King Discount Liquors, Lottery Beer Booze, and your lottery headquarters and my Malbec headquarters over on Pulaski Highway. Give the King a ring. Also want to give a shout out to Box Hill Pizzeria. The best crab cakes in Harford County can be found in my belly because I was there on Friday, as well as doing a little bit of salad dressing eating. You're yelling at me, Luke Jones. What do we got? Volume problems for Mike Tanier?
I think he wants his volume down a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I can do that. Yeah. There you go. Mike Tanier joining us here. Is that better?
I thought I was in a Springsteen concert for a while, and you were Springsteen, but it's better now. Okay. I can hear myself, and I can hear you. It's all we need to hear.
Well, I want to do as much damage to Philadelphia people as I can do before the game. Toughen you guys up a little bit. You're on the fly, Eagles fly, but give everybody your background. Everybody knows you Bleacher Report and Nerdalytics and your all of that stuff, right? But before that, you were like a math teacher, just like an Eagles fan from Jersey, right?
I was a math teacher and Eagles fan in southern New Jersey. I could practically spit on the Waltman Bridge to take you right over to the Veterans Stadium.
Almost Audubon. You could spit on Joe Flacco's hometown.
Yeah, I could spit on Joe Flacco. I probably spat on Joe Flacco a couple times. I taught him math for a season. So, but right across from where the vet used to be, grew up in the shadow of the vet. Huge Eagles fan growing up. Cried my eyes out at Super Bowl 15 when we lost to the Raiders. Got a little bit too sauced when they lost to the Patriots last time, and now I'm here, not going to cry, I'm not going to get sauced. I have to try to be impartial. And you saw me on Facebook before I came. I was getting it out of my system a little bit of the old Eagles.
Been hard on the Ravens, too. Luke's going to spank you a little bit here. Go ahead.
I'm not going to spank. I thought
you retweeted him, didn't you?
He had. I didn't retweet it. He had one of the great summary tweets of the 2017 Ravens. And I don't know if this was right when they lost or right before they lost, but and I quote from Mike Tanier, "The Ravens are the best bad team in the history of awesome, terrible teams. I hate them." And I thought that was perfect in describing this year's Ravens.
I stand by that. They managed to successfully be in the playoff run to the end. We thought they were making the playoffs up until the final minutes. Excruciating at the end. But it never looks good, and it's never something that you see, wow, this is aesthetically beautiful football. And I know Ravens fans are like, God, we don't care. We're all about the defense and things like deep down, you'd like to see some easier wins on the schedule, not just against the Browns, but against some of these other teams. And if you got another one or two of those there, maybe you would have been in the tournament this year instead of that horrible Titans team and everything else like that. Maybe you would have made some noise.
Skill position players help that.
Healthy skill position players get that, and a system that the skill position players fit, and that all works together, and it's from the 21st century is also good.
Well, your team is here from the swamps of Jersey and Philly down here. I said the Cretans will all be here at the mall Thursday and Friday screaming EA and all that. And come on, man. I've been up there, okay? I mean, I'm rooting for the Eagles. I've even pulled out this dirty trick here. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
Ooh, that's an old one.
All respect to our friends at Howard Bank who are sponsoring us here, but this isn't an Eagles hat at all. It's just an Eagles colored hat.
Oh,
and
wow.
I kind of have fooled you.
There you go. You did fool me.
I fooled all the Eagles scouts as well. It's my Eagles green Ravens
Kelly
hat.
Green.
It's the Kelly Green. That was 1981. That's what I thought we were going back to.
So I'm wearing this for anyone. I mean, my Howard Bank's my sponsor, but I'm wearing this hat for anyone from Philadelphia to show just how much I don't like the New England Patriots. Look, we're all sick of them, and if the Steelers were here, it'd be a Pennsylvania thing or whatever. We thought they were the other team, but trying for a week here to flap our gums about how the Eagles will beat the Patriots this week, trying to find a way that Nick Foles beats Tom Brady in some sort of historical perspective in a game that matters a lot. I think that's a very difficult thing to do here this week, right?
It's a difficult thing, and we're going to be charged with talking about that for a week, and we can run out of it in about a minute or two. I've already been practicing constructing the scenarios, going around the Eagles' front four, going around some of the little weaknesses in the defense of the New England Patriots that I think that Nick Foles and the running game and the offensive line can exploit. And you put them all together, and then you create a stack of things that the Eagles can do well that they should be able to exploit. Then you create the Patriots stack, and you start with Brady, and the stack's already bigger. You start with Brady and Gronk, and that's about it. And we can talk about some other little things. We can talk about
if you can't stop Brady and Gronk, you're going home.
You're going home.
With the Eagles, I think there's other things.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's going to dominate. I don't think Nelson Aguilar is going to take the game over.
No.
Or even Alshon. That's not going to happen. Right. If the Eagles are going to win, this is going to be a grind. It's going to be a block this or a special teams that or something's going to have to happen. The Eagles aren't going to dominate this game. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're capable of doing that.
No, there's no scenario of that. And you talk about special teams. I go over the special teams because especially a couple of years ago, the Eagles stunned the Patriots a couple of years ago. The Chip Kelly Eagles did it, and it was on a punt return touchdown, and there was a block kick, and there was some other special teams mistakes, and then Malcolm Jenkins had a 99-yard interception.
When the Patriots lose, that's usually something like that happens.
Something like that happens. A couple of weird things happen, or the Chiefs happen because they always seem to be the one that does that. but it's like that. Now you look at it now. Well, okay, Sproles has been hurt. They don't have really great return men for the Eagles. Maragos and some of their kick gunners, their specialists who would block the kicks, they're not available right now. And I got a stat that I'm going to be using all week. The Patriots are the only team that forces opponents on the average drive to start inside the 25-yard line. So you know how you get the ball to 25 after a kickoff? Most teams, they start their average drive 26, 27, 28, 29-yard line. It's about the 24-yard line for the Patriots. So you have to drive constantly against this team. So you'll be driving and moving heaven and earth with Nelson Aguilar and Zach Ertz and throwing over the middle of the field, drive down, you get a touchdown out of it. Brady gets the ball, gets the touchdown the other way. Anytime, there's no margin for error. Anytime you make a mistake, you stop short, you get stopped for a punt. Even if you get stopped for a field goal, you're playing into the hands of the New England Patriots not just because of Brady and Gronk and them, but because of how they play the game from a field position and a tendency standpoint to make you work harder than you really can work.
Go ahead. You mentioned that, and we always hear bend but don't break, and their defense epitomizes that. I mean, from a total yard standpoint, they're one of the worst defenses in the league. From a scoring defense standpoint, they're one of the best, and that really speaks to what you just said. I mean, they basically will stretch it out long enough waiting for you to make a mistake, the fatal flaw that kicks in.
Right. They start you on the 15.
Right.
So if they give up 35 yards, you're not in field goal range yet even. So
go ahead.
And if you get a field goal, you're not going to win the game kicking field goals against them. You're going to have to match them touchdown for touchdown. So all that plays in their hands. But you look at it exactly right. Defense gives up a lot of yards. You look at the red zone. Their defense ranked better in the red zone than the Eagles ranks in the red zone because they shut down, take away all of those things that you were doing, force you to kick field goals, and then, three series later, it's 21-9. You can kick field goals.
Mike Tanier joining us here from Bleach Report. You can follow his journey out on Twitter as well as at Bleach Report. All of our WNST content this week brought to you by Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. You need Carl Delmont and our friends at Freedmont Mortgage. Buying, selling, refinancing. You're just looking for some advice. Also, DNL Window Tinting. I wish they would tint the top of the mall here. If I can get Jason and Athena out here, please come to Minnesota. 27 years now of tinting cars, boats, businesses. I don't know if they've ever tinted the roof of the Mall of America, but would help us in the afternoon out here. Broadcasting Super Bowl from Mall. It's 5 degrees outside. You cheesesteak eaters and you pretzel eaters are all going to be coming out here and freezing. But this mall thing hasn't been a bad gig early on for me. We're going to be here all week. I've been cooped up in worse places. And I said to my wife's coming out Wednesday night. She's like, what are we doing over the weekend? And we go to the NFL Boulevard. I'm like, it's going to be 4 below on Friday night. Like, I'm not being, that's not, it's going to be 4 below at 10 o'clock on Friday night. Now, we're going to go downtown and do what?
Right.
I said, honey, when it's 30 on New Year's Eve, you don't even want to go out and bang a pot or a pan.
You said she's getting here Thursday?
Yes.
A high of 7 degrees on Thursday.
That's your noontime
high.
That's
when the sun's coming through.
Yeah. When it's partly sunny.
Yes. So that's what we're looking at. So outdoor activities here. The notion that I'm going to walk the streets like Mary Tyler Moore and throw a burger. I'm going to go to the mall and eat some burgers.
Right.
And I'm going to sit here and wait for Joe Montana or Dan Marino or Mike Tanier to come by, and we're going to talk football with whoever shows up here because it's warm here.
And normally, especially for the media, Radio Row's in a convention center. And the media headquarters is in a convention center. So you're inside a convention center. You're cooped up. Yeah, at nighttime, if you're in New Orleans or if you're in San Francisco, you go out and you do some nightlife. But you cab to it and you cab back anyway. It's not like we're we're experiencing the scenic downtowns. Might as well be here where, like you said, there's food courts. There's pitch and putt behind me over here. There's all kinds of weird activities, and we can partake of them when we have some breaks.
Even though I feel like I'm in Donald Trump's favorite country of Norway because of the climate here, we are international here. I mean, I got Italian food, street food over here. I got Asian food. I can get a falafel here. I can get an American a shack, fries. I can get a
There's
chicken
some Asian
sandwich.
Stuff around the sandwich.
I got poke right around the corner. I can go to Hawaii if I want to here. So I'm not lacking for anything other here than a football game. And hopefully, dare I say, as I wear my Kelly Green hat, an Eagles victory. I mean, I don't think America doesn't want another Patriot win.
I think that's I'm talking to cab drivers. I'm talking to not Philadelphia cab drivers here in Minneapolis, Bloomington, fans from all over the place. It's the same sentiment, and I get it. It's like, well, why do you resent greatness? Why do you resent greatness like this? It's almost like a show that keeps running. For a lot of people, they don't have a fan
well,
for the Patriots.
They cheat. I always go back to that.
Even if you get around that, the cheating.
You can't get around that. That's what forms. That's why people hated Ric Flair, because he cheated, right? Luke,
but everyone roots against Alabama too, and
right.
There's no big scandal there.
Right,
they're cheating, Alabama.
Well, but beyond the big time college, just
beyond the cheating that everybody in the SEC is doing, right?
Have you watched Tom versus Time yet?
No.
It's on Facebook, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's halfway between like a Marvel superhero show on Netflix and softcore erotica. For Patriots fans, it's mind-boggling, and it's supposed to be this window into his mind. But of course, this carefully crafted propaganda for how awesome Tom Brady is.
I've never had any erotic thoughts about Tom. Giselle, maybe, but
you're
not Tom.
You're not from New England. Yeah, you saw Ted too. Even Seth MacFarlane. Come on,
Tom does look a little cute in that white sweater he breaks out every year to look so angelic at the Super Bowl. I'm sure he'll be wearing that.
But part of it, I'm looking like, oh, come the hell on. But it's like, I turn it off. This guy has worked for everything he's got. He's only a couple years younger than me.
Sure.
He's an athlete of extreme level that's playing at the highest possible level. You appreciate that, but at the same time, there's movies that win Oscars that I don't want to see, and there's TV shows that win Emmys that I don't want to see, and there's a team that I don't want to see anymore because I've seen it 5 or 6 or 7 times in the last 15 years, and I want to see something new and something different. And that's before you put in the fact that I want to see a team I grew up rooting for win that game.
Now, nobody in our audience gives a snot about the Eagles or the Patriots. We care about the Ravens right now. And it's in Baltimore right now. I mean, I think we both have talked about 4th and 12 going over the head, and me coming down those steps behind the stadium after that game and thinking, well, this could be the end. Well, it's a month later. Bisciotti's going to do his dog and pony show, not for Luke and I on Friday. The old Friday afternoon press conference that, well, it was the only time I could do it. Yeah, sure.
Oh, boy, right.
So that's going to happen this week, and we got a disgruntled fan base. We've clearly got an offense that has some problems.
Right.
We clearly have some aging issues from the quarterback to Weddle to Suggs, Jimmy Smith getting on the field. Yondo, whether he – and we have no wide receivers to speak of. No offense to Wallace or whatever. But boy,
who's a free agent? This
is an interesting next 6 months for Ozzie, Eric, Steve, John, Marty Morningwig, all to put Humpty Dumpty back together again and try to figure out how you're going to sell me on winning. 10 games isn't good enough. 11 games, right? How are they going to win 11 games next year?
I think you have to go with that all-in philosophy right now because of the aging issues that you just mentioned. That that you're coming towards the end of, unless there's some kind of renaissance, the end of Joe Flacco's usefulness as a franchise quarterback, if we have not already passed that threshold. You mentioned guys like Yonda, guys like Weddle. Unless you do a purge and rebuild, and I think this – maybe you can do it in this draft with a lot of different quarterbacks and things like that. I don't think that's what they're going to do. You've got to be aggressive. Now, I haven't looked at their cap situation because they've kind of been off the radar for a few weeks, obviously. Get some wide receivers in here. Get some skill position talent in here. What I saw from the offense later in the season, it looked like there was a little more continuity there. It looked like you had found some solutions at running back. Looked like Flacco and Morningweg were finally on something close to a same page where if you put more people in there, it could work.
Well, Flacco's back wasn't getting shot up in December either.
That's part of it. That's part of it. I think it's just finally having like multiple years with the same coordinator started to look a little bit better, a little bit more firm there. Build off of that. Yeah, I don't want to see Wallace and Macklin and Campanaro and everybody.
Griff Whalen, you seen enough of Griff Whalen?
I saw enough of Griff Whalen when he was with the Colts. It was remarkable to see him back out there right now. Get legitimate and get some of the weapons other teams have here. Get that real slot guy.
Well, we had 10 tight ends last year, just literally.
Get one really, really, really good one at this point. Get what Todd Heap used to be, and not this rotating. Again, no offense to guys like Watts and stuff like that. Get some playmaker capability in there.
Well, I mean, I look at what the Eagles did this year, and clearly Carson Wentz is on a rookie contract, so I understand that piece of it. But I've been saying for 5 years now, the Ravens gave Joe Flacco this big contract. He didn't suddenly change and become a different quarterback.
No.
Even if you watched him before the 2012 postseason, he was a guy that, if he had good playmakers around him, would give you average to slightly above average production over the regular season, and he had an ability to touch greatness for periods of time. Yeah. Since that Super Bowl, and I understand the cap situation, but if you go to any of the sites and look at the salary cap, they have more cap resources devoted to their defense collectively than their offense.
Right.
13 of their 17 day 1 and day 2 picks since Super Bowl 47 have been defensive players.
Right.
So where, unless you're building...
And a 4th and 12 beat them. Let me point that out as well.
That's my point.
4th and 12 over,
I feel like there's been a notion of trying to recreate the 2000 Ravens, which, unless another 25-year-old Ray Lewis comes along, is probably not the least path of resistance.
And look at the young players you do have, but they're just not quite at that. You got Mosley's a heck of a ball player. You got some young guys like that, but you're not going to create it like that on that level because it's not the best path to victory.
Right.
And you're right. Like, okay, Wallace had sort of like a couple of really good games last year.
He's a number 2 receiver. I mean, just like he's a number 2.
He's a number 2 at best. He's a number,
and also on the other side of 30, while we're counting up those guys.
Macklin on the other side of 30, I believe. He's got to be there at this point, or he's at 30.
He's 29 or
29.
30.
Boy, we see a disappointment, in the scheme of what he... And you look back and say, why did the Chiefs get rid of him? Well, this was
because of it. Yeah, he was sort of on a slow downturn for a while here. And yeah, he can come up and play a role here and there, but have him be your number 1, that's crazy. And like you said, you got these Griff Whalen and all. The commitment has to be there. I think that as an organization, I remember the number like 6'3", 6'4" guys they would bring in as undrafted rookie free agents coming at the end of the draft. The roster was full of these guys. I can't remember the names, you guys would too. And none of them developed into the guy they thought they were going to be. And I think you have to look at it and say, we don't actually develop that kind of player. We think we do, but we don't.
Sure.
And I think the Ravens have to say, that's who we were. Now who are we going to be? There's free agents out there. You can probably get 1-year prove-it deals with some of these wide receiver free agents. You can get them come in. You can always find a way to squeeze something like that under the cap and be aggressive. Start there. Defense is in place, but the defense will not be in place too much longer. Suggs getting older, and Waddle getting older, and some of the other guys.
Mike Tanier joining us here. He's at Bleacher Report. You can find him out on Twitter as well from the swamps of New Jersey, and a rock and roll man. And what are you listening to these days? You got some rock and roll going on? What's your thing right now?
Just nothing but classic rock. I'm atrophying here. I watched the Grammys last night, and I had no idea what was going on. I know who Lady Gaga is. I mean, I know who Rihanna is, but I don't know anything about the music.
This Timberlake kid, he's going to catch on, right?
Yeah, he's still young to me, right? He's probably about 40 at this point, isn't he?
Well, and Pink's a Philly girl doing
Pink, yes.
Pink's a Philly girl, right?
Right.
So there's a little angle going on here.
Yeah, you got a little Philly. You got to get Darryl Hall and John Oates in there, and then I'll be a little more in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Boys to Men. That's going to get a little further.
Yeah, John Oates is playing down in Rams Head, doing a solo thing later on in the month, so that's all good, too. So we have a little rock and roll going. I'll be up in Philly to see U2 and ELO and all that good stuff this summer. Mike Tanier can be found at Bleacher Report, and he will be the guy celebrating with the green lampshade on his head if the Eagles actually
He'll be climbing up a pole.
Yeah.
You said something about Flacco and, education. Were you involved in Joe Flacco's education?
I was his calculus teacher when he was a senior in high school, so I watched him.
Yeah. Did you know this?
I did not know this. I knew you were a teacher.
We have never talked about this because I would remember that.
I lay low about it for a lot of people because guys like Peter King, Peter just walked by, will introduce me to people. This is Joe Flacco's calculus teacher. Like, I'm also the NFL lead writer for Bleacher Report and would like to be able to talk to you on that term.
You will never, ever, ever, ever do my show again where the introduction is and one time, Joe Flacco, 10th grade? 11th grade?
11th and 12th grade. I taught all kind of Flaccos. There are so many Flaccos.
Can I be honest with you? This is me throwing myself on the mercy of the court here. When I was a kid, I was a really good math student. Math and math. Not once I got to variables. Once we started algebra 1/2, I started meandering into this matter area where, I never made it to geometry. I took algebra 2 twice, and I was not a remedial student, but I still look at algebra. If I came over to your house and you tutored me, I don't think at 50, soon to be, that I could really. It's almost like playing the piano. I'm missing a finger. I feel like I can't comprehend calculus. Even at this age, I'm so I'm not intimidated by math or numbers or percentage. I'm good with all that. But you start putting the X and the 1 and the variable and the over and the under, and I don't know how one goes from algebra to algebra 2 to geometry to trigonometry to calculus by the time you're 16 or 17. Maybe chose
calculus student. Yeah, and he was bright. And you'll find most of the guys who make it to quarterback in the NFL now, they're honor students, obviously.
See, Luke taught 5th grade. There I can hang.
Okay.
I took calculus.
I
had an A in calculus senior year.
I feel so dumb when I'm surrounded by you guys.
When you were a kid, when you were a younger person, you might have been so distracted by the distractions of life that it just couldn't reach you. If you tried it now, a little less distracted by girls, a little less distracted by baseball, things like that, it would come to you a little bit
Led Zeppelin.
easier.
Kiss.
Exactly.
I was in the Kiss Army. What the hell do I need calculus for?
Yeah, right. You're going behind the conversion van. Yeah.
Hey, I'm 50. I'm still using shout it out loud. I don't use calculus,
Sine, cosine,
I know how to
tangent.
tip over here. I know how to do 15, 18. All right, Mike Tanier joining us here, the one-time 11th grade calculus teacher for Joe Flacco. Audubon High?
Audubon High. In Scenic Southern New
I
Jersey.
really didn't know that. Like I knew you had taught. I did not know that, and I think it's
dude.
cool.
When I
can't wait to see Joe next and
Flacco
ask him
a
about
picture.
it.
I outed
I'm taking a
myself.
picture of you and me, and I'm going to text the Flacco and say, he said you sucked at calculus.
Right. You'll get the same eye roll that he gave me like when he was in
Are
the
you
class.
allowed to tell me whether you got an A, B, or C?
He got an A. He got an A.
He got an A in
He got an A. I
calculus?
remember that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember any Flacco getting a B in anything for the record, man. That family.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to say which one might
That's
have.
a really neat thing for you to say.
No, they were phenomenal.
Luke, when he says that all the Flaccos never got anything but an A, doesn't that speak volumes for why Joe is the way Joe is?
Sure. Absolutely.
A
That's
family,
kind of a neat story.
a tightly knit family, a tightly knit community,
Right.
and people are dedicated to excellence all around, not just on the field but off the field as well.
Joe's my favorite all-time Baltimore athlete. You'll
That's
never
great.
get me to disparage Joe. I probably
Right.
would have liked Joe when he was 16 too.
No, you would have loved him when he was 16, yeah, and sometimes the throws do go, but look, you got a ring, you got a tremendous career out of him, and hopefully get a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, he's he does what Billick does to all the people from Philadelphia, and I always said, Billick's our partner here on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation. Brian, and I beat him up at this last week, I said, part of his big speeches, Brian will go into a room when he's doing his with his Super Bowl ring on, and he'll say, hey, good morning, everyone, good to be here. We got some Ravens fans, we got some Redskin fans, okay, DC. Got any Eagles fans here? And the Eagles, oh, yeah, hey, Eagles fans, you're a tough town, Eagles. And he'll hold the ring up, and he'll say, I want to show you guys something you've never seen before.
Oh, come on.
So
maybe we can put that to bed this week. That would be one more reason to put it to bed.
This is the chance. Mike Tanier's out on Bleacher Report, one of the good dudes in our industry, and a great read, a great follow for all things football. Luke and I are live on Radio Row. We're here in Minnesota, Super Bowl 52. It is all brought to you by our friends at Howard Bank, a relentless commitment to being the best at everything they do, kind of like Joe Flacco, but don't tell Joe that. He's not sponsored. Royal Farms, real fresh, real fast. Get some gas, get some fried chicken, and please send me some coffee here. I'm going to need it all week long, as well as at the Maryland Jockey Club and Laurel, where they're racing this weekend, and the entries will be out at WNST.net. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm in the buyatoyota.com audio vault for anything you miss here, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all those cool places. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.